Hi, welcome to Trailers from Hell. I'm Larry Karaszewski, and right now we're going to look at a film that was probably the shoddiest experience I ever had in the movie theater. It's from 1974. It's called Pardon My Blooper. And yes, I probably should have known what I was getting into. This movie was sold as a compilation of bloopers. I mean, how good could it be? But here's the thing. It's not a compilation of bloopers. It's a compilation of pretend bloopers, a recreation of bloopers, fake bloopers. It's just awful. It's rock bottom. It truly is a trailer from hell. So let's take a look at it right now. All right, are we done? Did you cut? All right, that ought to hold those little f***ers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Hubert Heaver.
You blew it, you blew it, you blew it.
This radio classic of the 30s was the birth of the blooper. They've happened in the news.
The rumor that the president would veto the bill is reported to have come from a high white horse souse.
You knew it the moment you blew it.
You have to remember that pre-YouTube and Twitter, bloopers were a rarity. Private collectors passed around tapes underground. I remember one called The Worst of Hollywood. It had Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin cussing. Kermit Schafer was the guy who monetized this business. He put out albums in the late 50s and 60s. He had the gall to take a possessory credit. Kermit Schafer's Pardon My Blooper. I'm not sure why he deserved it. They sold big. They weren't very dirty. Generally, the bloopers were benign, like, here's President Hubert Heaver. Then, in the 1970s, the company K-Tel got involved. They were kings of using television to sell products, like the Vegematic. They used late-night ads the way infomercials are used today. Well, they reissued the albums and threw lots of TV advertising at it, and it exploded. You couldn't get away from these things. But what was always weird about Kermit Schafer's bloopers was that when he heard about a blooper that happened, often there was no recording of it. People didn't have VCRs or TiVo back then, but that didn't stop Kermit Schafer. He would recreate the blooper and act like they were the real thing. But you could tell instantly it was bogus, usually because there'd be some lame comment like, "Are we off the air?" before some blooper tirade happened. K-Tel decided if they could sell vegetable slicers and records, why couldn't they sell films? They picked up some sludge for distribution like Mr. Super Invisible with Dean Jones and a handful of spaghetti westerns, and they actually produced this film, which took Kermit's recreation one step further. For the film, you now have people lip-syncing. Yes, lip-syncing to the recreated blooper. The whole thing looks like it was shot on a budget that wouldn't even pay for a porn film. One of the most annoying things about the movie is the theme song, which is called You Blew It. And unfortunately, if you hear even a snippet of it, it will be in your brain forever. It's written by Sam Kozlow, who actually has great credits, such as Dean Martin's classic, Everybody Loves Somebody Sometime. But in keeping with the rip-off nature of this project, it's sung by a guy named Danny Street, whose claim to fame is a couple of albums where he pretends to be Tom Jones and Engelbert Humperdinck. Oh, you blew it, you blew it, you blew it, you blew it. Kermit Schafer died in the late 70s, and Dick Clark took over the trade, producing a bunch of TV shows about bloopers, which actually were now more commonly available because of video. But every episode would pay respect to the original king, and the closing credit crawl would be a dedication to Kermit Schafer, Mr. Blooper.
He blew it, but don't you blow your chance to see Pardon My Blooper. Uncensored, unbleeped, shocking, and provocative version of blooper fun for everyone. You'll agree that it's the craziest f***ing movie you've ever seen. Coming soon to this theater.
You blew it, you blew it, you blew it.